these are my principles, and this is what I live by, while I'm in the NBA. And a principled person will always persevere.
And Wallace with the rebound. Then comes slowly down the court, but Hunter takes it all the way in and scores. And gets fouled. Lindsey Hunter.
My journey as an athlete, actually started in another sport. I was a football player at a young age, and I just loved football. Like anything football related, I was a part of, because I was kind of a late bloomer. Like I was really small. I think middle school I was like 5'2" maybe. And the coaches, then they really kind of weeded you out by size. And that was discouraging for me, because football was, that was my thing. I loved it, and I was good at it. I had a lot of success. But I thank God that they kind of did that, because it pushed me to basketball. I ended up going to Alcorn out of high school, and played for Dave Whitney, who was a legendary coach. Was legendary, and he came to recruit me, and he sat down and talked to me, man. And I looked at my dad. I was like, I want to play for this guy. Man, I ended up starting my freshman year, and won Freshman of the Year. Had a lot of accolades in the conference, and so then he gets fired. So I enrolled in Jackson State without telling anybody. I was just going to school. And my dad made me work, so I was working a job, going to school, playing ball, and, when I could, and work out. And Andy Stoglin, who was the coach at Jackson State at the time, heard that I was on campus. I had a couple other coaches who wanted me to come, Ben Jobe at Southern University. There were a couple of assistant coaches from Louisville who had interest in me, wanted me to come work out for Louisville. Because I grew up in that environment with the HBCUs, man, that was like everything to me. And it wasn't a big deal for me to go there. And from day one, my sophomore year, we won the conference championship. Man, they really, really pushed me to kind of be who I am. All the things that I had learned from my pops and from Coach Stoglin and Coach Perry, that you got to put the work in, and you'll limit yourself more so not working than you do when you just put your all into it. And you may not, let's just say, everybody's not an NBA player. Everybody's not, a high major player if that's what you choose to be. But man, if you push yourself, and if you just lay it all out on the line and work as hard as you can, trust me, you'll attain a lot more, and I try to pass those things on to a lot of kids, man. And being an athlete and having some success, you look back, and I didn't have a pro that was reachable for me, and coming from Mississippi. So, my father and the coaches that touched my life, those were the guys who I looked up to, and they inspired me. And I think for me, that's always been one thing. I always wanted to connect to kids, connect to families, to people, no matter where I was. In Detroit, I feel like I've been in Detroit so long, I'm a Detroiter, and I like to, be a guy that can go places and people not be, they just feel like I'm like, oh, that's Lindsey, that makes me feel good. That makes me feel like I'm a part of the community, and those are the things that I value. Yep, and then pop out. Wait. Come back. Hey, you locked into us? The thing I really love about coaching is coaching, to me, teaches you more about yourself than it does anything else. That's a good feeling to be able to teach kids and try to inspire them to be better. It doesn't bother me to see a kid struggle at something that I know eventually he'll get or she will get. It doesn't. I can sit there for an hour and go through it, and they can stumble, they can make a mistake, they can not get it for a while, but it doesn't bother me to keep going, to keep teaching, to keep trying to find a way to reach and find a way to get them to understand it. I've seen those kids come further than a kid that's gifted, and that's the true joy of the game.
Some confidence so they can get it within striking distance once you start the fourth quarter.
Those were Barry's first points of the game. And then Hunter gets fouled. So Hunter is the guy on a run right now. That's 7 points in the last minute or so, and a chance for an eighth.
This young guy, when he first came in the league out of Jackson State, he came in as a primetime scorer. He put a lot of numbers on the board as young and early in his career. He could score the ball.
Being a black athlete is the influence that we have, and the ability to pass the knowledge, pass the things that you've experienced along to the younger generations. That's, for us as black athletes, I think that's what we have to get back to. We have to really get back to pulling one another up. You see guys like LeBron, and you see guys like KD and Steph. Those guys, they get it. They get it. Those guys have plans. You know, whether it's owning a franchise or whatever it is, they have plans. And that's what the younger athletes have to see and understand, like, wow, I can do the same thing, and carry yourself like an asset. How do you want to be viewed? How do you want, you know, those 30 some odd teams to look at you, and what do you want them to say about you? Because you're a walking billboard, and whatever you do is going to be associated with your name. People say, well, you know, they're playing the race card, or you're playing the race card, or somebody's playing the race card. And I'm like, well, I've been black my entire life. I don't know how to play the race card. I just know I'm playing. And I know, you know, the things. Growing up in the South, man, I saw things at a young age, you know, that you know, I'm sure a lot of people haven't experienced. Being in the South and being in some of the environments where, you know, you knew where people didn't want you to go, or people didn't, you know, care for you. It just made you feel a different way. Thank God, you know, my mom and my dad taught me, you know, some of the things that happened in our past that made me want to make a difference. Like, you know, it made me want to present myself in a way that, you know, showing, you know, younger kids that come from a rural area like Mississippi, that you can make it out, man. You can make it, and you can impact lives. And I've never been the guy that wanted to highlight myself, highlight what I'm doing, because I really didn't care less about the notoriety. I just purely try to help people for the sake of just helping us and helping them, and just wanting people to do better, and seeing people be successful, seeing young black men be successful. When you get a chance, man, you help the next young guy, you know, because that's what it's really about.